Hey guys, Anthony here, bringing back another video segment covering the lab session for KIN 557. And for this course, we're finally getting to cover like a bunch of muscular fitness tests. After covering a series of baseline tests within the first lab, as well as covering combined competition, as well as the blood pressure. So since we got all those data together, we're going to be finally covering the muscular fitness categories, which is going to be determining the flexibility measurements. So flexibility by using this tool here to determine the goniometry of the shoulder flexion, elbow, the hip, and the knee. And after that, we're also going to be testing out the sit and reach, whereas we have the participant on the floor and they're like reaching forward to see how far they can actually reach within the certain inch. And then once we're done with all the flexibility measurement, then we have two muscular endurance measurements, which are going to be determining the sit-ups as well as the push-ups. So for the sit-ups, we'll be determining by how many reps can a participant do under a minute, versus the push-up, there's no time limit, so therefore we can actually be able to see how many reps is actually done within that, how many reps you can do. Yeah. So without further ado, we're going to be covering the lab 3 for muscular fitness, and then the video is going to be starting now. Okay, so the first test we're going to be running called the sit and reach test, where we're going to have the participant lay flat on the table here. So the way the yardstick is actually measured out, we want to make sure that the heel right on here is not going beyond 16 inches. So method 2 trial, we're going to be checking to see if we have them isolated within hip junction in terms of flexibility. So when it comes forward, then we're going to see how we're going to do on the first trial. And after that, we'll give them a bit of a breather, and we'll go for the second trial to see how we do for the second one. So now we're going to be able to attempt the first trial for the participant, and be able to keep both hands on top of each other together like that, and going to reach forward for the first attempt. Go ahead, Steve. And then hold. Let's take it back. So the first trial, the participant ends around 20 inches. Okay, so once again, we're going to be trying second attempt, see if you try to do even better than the first attempt. So once again, the heel of the feet is not beyond within 15 inches. So now participant's going to be having both hand over hand, and it's going to be reaching forward. Let's go ahead and try it again, and see if you can do the best mark this time. And hold. Relax. So the participant ends up at 21.8 inches. Not bad. Definitely an improvement. Okay, so now we're going to be checking the geometer of the elbow flexion. So now the participant's in the same position as he was before for the shoulder flexion, but this time we're going to be checking the geometer measurement of his elbow. So what's going to happen now is that since he has his arm flat here in the supine position, what he's going to be doing is that with the arm flat and maintained at the humerus, he's going to be bringing the arm up towards him as far as possible, and that's when we'll be getting our degree measurement. So first thing first, we got to find our midpoint, which is right around here where the elbow joint's at. So once you find that here, we're able to place the geometer in this position. So the geometer always got to be placed at 0 degrees possible, so we're able to get it up. Be able to have the hand come up as far as possible. Maintain the humeral on the table. So what we don't want to do is that we don't want to make sure the geometer is moving back and forth. We want to make sure it stays stable and match in alignment with the arm here. It's coming forward here. There you go. Perfect. So right about there, we are reading exactly 132 degrees for the shoulder flexion. For the next test we're going to be trying out, we're going to be doing the goniometer measurement of the hip flexion. So what's going to happen now is that participants are going to be having both knees flexed, right about there, okay? And then we kind of collect our measurement here by putting the midpoint around the hip region here. This knee is going to be coming over to the chest, and we're going to be getting a degree measurement coming from where it's going to be. So where it's going to be set up, it's going to be set up right about the hip point here. And it's here, gotcha. So it's lined up. But the goniometer is actually measured up along with the femoral bone. So now what it's going to do is that this knee can come over the chest, go as far as possible. Higher, go, 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 go. relax. So the measurement comes out like around 115 degrees. So now we're going to be checking out the geonometer of the shoulder flexion, so which means that the participant can be having an arm extend all the way back. But before we can actually do it, the participant has to have his back leg flat, and then at the same time, in order to keep like a flat lumbar spine, so you have like a little bit curved, both knees got to be flexed on the table. Flex your knees, a little bit higher, right there. Perfect, even better. So now what the participant's going to be doing is that it's going to have one arm, so right about here, and it's going to be extending all the way back to about here, as far as you can. There you go. So at the right about there, we want to make sure we find our midline point. So the point's going to be like right about there where the humeral head is at. So what we're going to be doing is that we're going to be planting the geonometer right about here where the midpoint's at. Okay, go further. There you go, right about there. There you go. So now we have the geometry plan right about here. We're going to get the midline, and we're going to be bringing this all the way back to make sure that this is actually connected toward the medial, not the lateral head of the condyle. About there. Go and relax. And the result is around 160 degrees. Okay. So for the last goniometer measurement, they're going to be collecting the long D knee flexion to see how far the participant is able to bring that knee up towards them. So what's going to happen is that both knees are still in a flex position like this, except that we're going to be having our midline point somewhere right around here where the patella region is at. So as soon as we hit this region here, we're going to start off with the midline at this point here. But at the same time, we're also going to take this out towards here, where it's lined up against the fibula bone. So what the participant's going to do is that's going to bring his knee in. What we're going to be looking at, once we collect the measurement, is going to be somewhere along this axis right about here. Keep going. Further. So the participant ends up at 124 degrees. So for the next test we're going to be doing is the YMCA half sit-up test. So the way it actually looks is that we have a math display for the participant to make it feel comfortable. And so knees are in bent position and hands are flat on the floor with a pronation position. And so what we see here is that we've got like two tapes lined up. So the first tapes are actually at least 9 centimeters apart. So when the participant starts off, his fingertips should be at least within the tape. Just scooch down just a little bit more. There, perfect. So the biggest goal is that under 1 minute, the participant has to perform a half sit-up, allowing both hands to touch the secondary line, which is a little bit further down the path. So under 1 minute, we're going to see how many reps we're going to be doing. Okay, ready? Begin. Okay. And from what I counted, you counted like around 48 reps total under 1 minute. Okay. All right. So now the next test we're going to be conducting is going to be the push-up test. We're going to be doing by the American College of Sports Medicine. So basically what's going to happen is our participants can begin in a sit position. Go ahead and get in a sit position. The both feet are together. Hip is up a little bit. About here. Okay. Lumbar spine got to be straight at all times, and hands like directly beneath the shoulder. Okay. The good thing about this test is that there's not going to be any time limit, so therefore we get to go as many as possible. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go for it. Go. 1, 2. Back straight. Stop. So because of the result of the test at the very end, his back foot again a little archy, that's when we have to make the call to terminate the test. We want to make sure the spine is straight the entire time. So as a result, 70s. Okay, so as we're wrapping up in this video here, we do have a couple results been collected within the flexibility test. As far as the flexibility test for the elbow, it happened to be around like 132 degrees, as the video states. 132 degrees, according to the chart, happens to be a below normal range. However, since the participant had like a lot of mass within that bicep region, he could have gone like a little bit more further if possible. But because that bicep mass region, that kind of like gets in the way, which is why the degree result is what it is. So then, as we know, for the shoulder flexion happens to be like around 158 degrees. So within that range, right, according to the chart, that should consider to be like a normal range for the shoulder flexion, because the normal range happens to be like around 162 to 172. So for the range of that shoulder being around 168 degrees, it actually is considered to be normal, especially when he's able to actually be able to reach back. He could be able to reach back further, but you know, for the test would have to be needed if necessary. So for the hip flexion actually measures like around 115 degrees, but based on the chart for the measurement, it's exactly literally at the normal range, exactly, because the normal range for that would be between 115 to 127. So because within that range, so it's considered normal for the hip. And then for the knee flexion, happens to be standing like around 124 degrees for the flexion. Based on the chart, it says that according for the knee joint, below normal range happen to be like less than 135 degrees. So for it being at 124, it's considered to be like less than normal range. So for the sit and reach test that we actually did for him, he actually had two different trials, for which the best trial of the two, he ended up at 21.8 inches. So based on the chart, it actually considered for him to be at the 80th percentile, possibly in the 90th percentile, because above average is limited to about 20 inches. So well above average would have been about 22 inches. So he's actually within that kind of category between 20 and 22. So I'm pretty sure for me, when I describe it, his 21.8 inch measurements should be within the well above average category. Therefore, he actually makes it to the 90th percentile. And then going on with the muscular endurance test, we do know that for the sit-up region, I know in the video I said 48 reps underneath the minute, but after reviewing the video over and over, I actually made a mistake, whereas my count was supposed to be 52 reps. So therefore, in under 1 minute, the participant is able to finish at least 52 reps within the sit-ups under 1 minute. So according to the chart provided by the YMCA curl-up test norm, we do know that the participant would sit at the 60th percentile for his age group between 18, 25, 22 years old. So therefore, finishing at 52 reps total under 1 minute, he's in the 60th percentile within that range. And then for the push-up test, he finished the push-up like around 76 reps, which is really not bad, but sometimes towards the very end, he actually ended up having trying to feel fatigue with the back of the arch a little bit. That's when we had to cut off like right then and there. He could have gotten more, but because the back was arching a little bit, yeah, we had to cut the test like right then and there to avoid any possible injury that could have been applied to him. So according to the push-up performance norms, he would definitely for sure fit within the excellent category, because his push-up happened to be greater than 36 reps. So therefore, for finishing off like 36 reps, he finished off like around 36 reps, which is even better. Okay, so that's basically all the results that have been collected. So now we have one more test coming up, which means that we have one lap session, which can be covering cardiovascular fitness tests, and that's going to be involved in like a 1 mile pace. But that we'll definitely get to there in a bit. So in the meantime, as we conclude this video, hope to see you guys next time. If you guys got any questions, comment, concern at all, please leave a comment down below, and I'd be happy to answer them to you as best as possible. Without further ado, take care.